have Steph Korey, who is from Away Travel, which works with another of my favorite categories, which is travel. Michelle and I were actually just talking before we came in about a trip that she's planning for France, and she was saying, packing. And I stress about packing also. It's something I've written a lot about, and our audience has told me that they too.
You've obsessed on it at Quartz. Yeah.
And so what Steph has is Away's their first product, which is this carry-on. So I will let her tell you a little bit about what you guys do.
Our whole thesis at Away was that travel has the ability to make your life better. You explore new cultures, you see new places. At the end of the day, travel is what has the ability to make the world a better place. And a lot of the times when people think about travel, they start thinking about the frustrating parts, like my crappy broken suitcase that I'm like hobbling along with, and my cell phone's dead and I'm sitting at the gate, and sort of all of these negative parts. So what we set out to do at Away was sort of eliminate as many of the frustrating parts of travel as we possibly could to allow people to focus on the joys of travel instead. So the first product we made is this carry-on, and
Weight check.
it's super duper light.
Yeah.
So we basically, at the end of the day, we said there are two types of suitcases that exist. There are sort of the cheap, crappy ones that are going to break, or the really nice ones that a lot of the times run you $1,000 or close to it, that most people would prefer to spend on the trip they're going on and not their suitcase. And the reason that sort of market dynamic was the case was any suitcase company that makes a high quality product is wholesaling it, and sometimes there's a licensing company taking a cut, and there's a lot of markup, so that $1,000 suitcase actually does not cost that much to make. So we set out to make the perfect carry-on, completely designed based off of how people who travel truly travel, not a marketing feature list, not anything like that, just the true user experience. And from like a business model perspective, we sell it exclusively direct to consumer, so there's no wholesaling to the luggage stores or the department stores.
Which are basically gone. Luggage stores are gone.
Yeah, exactly. So by keeping that as our business model, we have made a suitcase that in quality is comparable to the $1,000 suitcases that you see, and we sell all of them for under $300. So this is our carry-on. It's $225.
Steph came from Warby Parker before, as you might have.
Yes. So you know how to make cool, hip products.
Yeah, and it's that.
Yeah, totally.
Steph used a term when we were talking a while ago. What was it? Product arbitrage, or it's sort of like it's the same opportunity where you see something in the market that you're like, why is that so expensive?
It's this price to quality ratio arbitrage opportunity here. So I'll just very briefly tell you about it. So the shell is made from this German brand of polycarbonate that's unparalleled in being both lightweight and extremely durable. You don't see this material used on suitcases that aren't many multiples the price of this. These Japanese double wheels that you can roll on carpet, cobblestone, anything. It's going to be smooth and silent and easy. Right here, we actually even built in a charger to charge your cell phone. So before you leave for your trip, you pack your suitcase and charge it, and then it'll charge your iPhone or Android 5 times while you're away. And then another really cool thing is the way we've designed the inside. I'm not going to knock any of your stuff over here, right? So we literally talked to 800 people before we designed this suitcase about how they travel and sort of what the pain points were.
What's great about this is that the cliche, one of the cliches in design thinking is put people together and design a suitcase. So I've seen it over and over and over again. People are dissatisfied with how suitcases work. They don't like how it works, and so they want to be heard. So you listen.
Yeah. Well, something that's really interesting and that I love about talking with both of these women is that they talk to so many people about how they get dressed, what they're looking for, how they pack, and the insight that they both have to how people actually live is insane and so interesting. But when Steph was sort of like taking me through the features, she was telling me about all the different people and how they actually pack. Which, is there a verdict on rolling versus folding actually?
Yes, flat folding is better.
Okay.
We're like super convinced of it. I mean, you'll find the people who advocate for roll packing, but
just rolling your
Yeah,
clothes.
no,
I think if
I-
they tried
I-
flat folding a little bit more, they'd change their mind.
Now, what
Yeah.
about the squinching the air out stuff, which I've been using?
You like roll your stuff up to get the air out, or?
No, you put
The
all
vacuum pack.
vacuum pack
Vacuum
stuff, yeah.
pack.
So you don't even need that with this because you just pack all of your stuff under here, and you sort of put all your clothes down, and then you put this over it and clip the straps and tighten it, and it just smushes all your stuff down, stops it from
Yeah, we
wrinkling,
like
and
smush.
really fit a lot in there.
Yeah. I like this compartment, the compartment for hard stuff. So it's like all your shoes and chargers and toiletries and stuff go in there. I mean, it really is.
Shoes, plural?
I'm not. I see what you're doing. Shoe, singular. I love that. But yeah, and I think in some ways it's a different way of designing something.
Well, I think what's interesting is we just take a very data-driven approach to every single decision the company makes. So when it came to what would make a suitcase perfect for people, it was not what would make a suitcase perfect for us or for our designers or in what happens at most companies for our marketing team. It was what would make a suitcase perfect for the way people truly travel, and we won't know until we talk to hundreds of people across a wide array of demographics and really sort of turn that data in a way that can give us the real insights to make a perfect suitcase.
It's the problem with damn near in the industrial age. It's the problem with any kind of industry and company we have. It's certainly the problem in journalism where we think we know best. And here, you're welcome. We're done now. Automotive, right? They keep things shrouded in secrecy and make huge mistakes and take 6 years to get an AV plug stuck into a car, or Android Auto, by the way. Every industry you can name, and just this idea of listening better. We have entrepreneurial journalism here at CUNY. We also have a new program in social journalism where you start by understanding the community's needs. That shouldn't be revolutionary, but it kind of is. Yeah. To have the skills of listening first. What about the feedback loop? All right, so now you come out, is this 1.0?
Yes.
So now that you have 1.0 out, how do you consider 1.1?
So that's interesting you asked that. We, because we're a direct-to-consumer company, we keep really lean inventory turns. We make new batches of our product every month. So we've been in business for 5 months now, and this is actually 1.5 you're looking at. So
what's changed?
A few things have changed. Let me think, what are the important things? There's a laundry bag right in here that when you're on your trip, you can kind of roll it out and put your dirty laundry in there and fill it up. And we ended up making it a little bit bigger over time. So we thought, people will just put their gym clothes or like a few things in there, but people were telling us, no, we want to put everything in there at the end of our trip. We want everything in our suitcase to be in that laundry bag. So we made it bigger for people.
Yeah.
What are a few other things that changed? We actually modified this exterior finish a little bit. So our original version, sort of if you got gate checked, it could get a little bit scratched. And so we added this texture and this extra finish to it that really keeps the finish nice no matter what the baggage handlers do to it.
Now, there's different use cases. So I look at this lustily. So I travel, as my colleagues here will say, way too much. I'm United Global Services.
Nice.
Bow down before me.
Delta Diamond Medallion.
Okay, all right. So I'm praying to be in next year United. I'm very happy. Let me in next year. On my overnight, I pride myself because I'm male that I can do 14 days on an overnight.
Wait, in an overnight bag, you mean?
I can do 14 days in that.
Right.
So I'm wearing all black. Partly comes from gaining weight, but also it comes because it's easier. Right now I can know what to pack, and that's it. And that's what I wear, and that's take it or leave it. That's all. So I've thought this through. But there are different use cases as you go. Like the one thing that keeps me away from this kind of suitcase is the need for the outside pocket.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we found in our research was when we sort of presented the option of an outside pocket to people, most people were like, I'm not really going to trust my laptop or my tablet in something that's rolling on the ground and bumping around anyway. I'm going to put it in my own laptop bag or backpack or tote and put it right on top of the bag instead. So we made the top of this bag like super flat so that you could put those easy access items right on top. but didn't build it in because people were concerned about sort of the pressure on those items as it went along.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about some kind of easy access panel into it or something so you can put your headphones.
Good, we'll get you involved for the next focus group.
Well, that's actually something I'm interested in is now they have a pop-up, and I feel like part of what happens there is these conversations in real life that I might not be a person who's ever going to like tweet at you guys and be like, I wish I had an outer pocket. But if I were in the store and talking to someone, I probably would say like, well, do you have something similar that has X or Y? And I wonder if that's is that part of why to have a pop-up?
That's a huge part of why we have the pop-up. And at the risk of sounding a little bit creepy, actually every single thing that a person walks into a store and says gets recorded, as does their gender, whether they're alone or as a couple or a family, their age, if they're from New York or not from New York, and everything they said when they walked in. And all of this gets sort of channeled back to our data team and our product development team as insights on how do we keep making the product more perfect based off of everything we're hearing from people about it.
So same question to you as to the two prior guests. Are you a tech company?
I mean, it's 2016, so if you're a company, you're a tech company at some level. There are a lot of things about what we do that's different from the traditional industry, and our technology platform is part of it. So the fact that we have like a big focus on data science and sort of like bringing all of our different data points together into a data center to make all of our decisions. The fact that we won't do like a traditional wholesale order, like a department store can't write an order to us and have us ship them thousands of suitcases. So that we've built a technology platform that allows every single point of sale to be an individual point of sale makes us a tech company. But in addition to being a tech company, we're a supply chain disruption company, we're a consumer experience disruption company, so it sort of runs the full spectrum.
So as at Warby Parker to eyeglasses, you've done the same thing to suitcases. All three of you, what are other areas that are prime for disrupt you wish would be disrupted that you're going to do next?
Oh my gosh, the airlines.
Yeah.
That's a tough
I
one.
mean, people break down in those experiences.
Yes.
I think that would be a great place to start.
I think there are really few areas that sort of in this day and age with how rapidly everything is changing, how rapidly your experiences are changing, the way you're consuming media is changing everything, that don't have an opportunity right now to get a lot better if you're thinking about it really critically.
Yeah, but I even think that paradoxically laptops, and not that we're going to keep on using laptops, but technology, yes, no two iPhones are alike because the software is different, but there's very little choice there. There's very little opportunity to have an influence on it. That could use more of this kind of thinking, I think. Any of your obsessions?
I mean, recently, something that's happening at Quartz right now is a few people have started bullet journaling, which is a productivity system that goes back to pen and paper, which in a lot of ways I never really left pen and paper, but I think that the whole sort of like calendar life organization space, that there's room for something there. Yeah. I've been using Sunrise Calendar. That's about to go away.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know that.
I think it's turning into Outlook, or Outlook is absorbing them or something. But yeah, I think
Would you try the new efforts at using of course, AI now fixes anything. You'll soon have the artificial intelligence suitcase, but the dash of AI mixed into calendaring and helping set up appointments. Amy, is it X.io? I think is the name. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
So
sure. I mean, I'll try anything.
What you do with that is you two want to make an appointment, so you CC Amy, which is actually just a bot, and then Amy has to have access to your calendar, which is not Google Calendar, so I'm out. I think it's Outlook.
My trust issues are sort of flaring up.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
So services are harder than products. A hard thing, eyeglasses, food, the fashion you buy, I can deal with that as a commodity that I can touch and see. Service gets into your life.
I think when you say harder, it depends on who you're talking to. So there are a lot of service-based things that all of us have changed in our lives without even realizing it. Like, we've all let Google read our email and decide what to advertise to us based off of it. And for the most part, probably most of us like it because we have things being served to us that are relevant and we discover new things. Or even on the media side, like a lot of the new journalism changes are service changes. The willingness of people to change how they consume media right now is probably totally unprecedented, and there's this insane opportunity that you could reach people in new ways. That's kind of a service, and people aren't making the conscious decision that, oh, I've adapted to this new service. They just did.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you so very much. I'm really grateful. Good luck. I'm probably going to be coming down to the store.
Awesome. Sounds great. I'll see you there.
My bag. One of the problems that hits too is these damn things break constantly. And I got that point where you're trying 25 different ways and cursing as it goes. So yeah, you may have me.
With all those United miles, you need something great.
Exactly. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So Jenni, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you back. We're trying to figure out what this show is. I'm not supposed to say that anymore. We're supposed to say we know exactly what the show is. But we're still trying to figure out what it is. And it's fun to have you coming in with your obsession, with your experience and expertise in fashion and fashionable things and new things in New York to bring that in. As I mentioned, I just got back from VidCon, which, have you heard of VidCon? It's the Comic-Con of YouTube.
Okay, yes,
So
I have.
25,000 people, the vast majority very excited teenage girls, one of whom this year was my daughter. Last year I went to VidCon, and the morning I left for LA, I said, I'm going to LA, and my daughter said, well, why? And I said, have you heard of VidCon? And her response was, well, yeah. Like, why aren't you taking me? I was in trouble for a year. So this year I took her, and we had a great time. And it was VidCon is an amazing thing because it's all about YouTube, but it's not really about YouTube. It's not really about video. It's about relationships. And the relationships that these mainly young girls, but guys as well, and some older people too, have to these YouTube stars is phenomenal. The two-way relationship they have. The ability they feel, there was some, Susan Wojcicki, who's the CEO of YouTube, put up a stat on the screen that I think, I get this wrong, but 40% of YouTubers trust the star they like on YouTube more than their own friends. That they feel a relationship, they feel a kinship. I went to sessions about mental health and people sharing their difficulties to the whole world on YouTube. It's just really phenomenal. It's something that I think we need to learn. And if we in New York can figure this out, I think that what we can do better than Silicon Valley, not to seem like we're Chamber of Commerce here, but is this idea of, as you said, we're sardined in with people. As Julie said before, we're sardined with people. We've got to figure it out together. So what are you working on next at Quartz?
This newsletter is a big thing I'm working on.
Why a newsletter?
Because, I think some of it is sort of that, it's a little bit of the two-way street thing you're talking about, and it's a little bit, it feels like a more direct line to an audience, which is something that since stopping Closet Tour, I've sort of missed, is sort of really connecting directly with an audience that is interested in sort of what you're thinking about or what you're working on or what you're interested in, and just sharing it with them because you think it's interesting and that's good enough, and that it is the sort of stuff that you're going to talk about with your friends or your family over the weekend. I think some of it is craving like a little bit of that intimate connection with an audience that sometimes, you might have a story that goes totally viral, and that's great, but it's not sort of the same kind of storytelling or communication that you get to have with something like an email where people reply to me, and I love that.
It's kind of an intimacy that exists. I always said about YouTube is YouTube is somebody clicking on your nose. You talk to them as face-to-face. And you shouldn't be thinking it was broadcast. Email is a little bit different too. You have a contact with somebody that's going to be worth clicking on that to open it up.
100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
It feels good to be back.
It's great to be back. Yeah. I love it here.
Yeah, good. All right. So that's it. Wrapping up number 8, dotNYC. Big important things. We got wired into Facebook Live, so this is really exciting for us. We got our TriCaster wired in for lower thirds and all kinds of neat TV stuff. And I almost said a bad word. And so Annie Berman's working crazy. We're trying to try out some other ideas. At VidCon, I bought, you can't buy them in the US yet, I bought the new Samsung 360 camera, which I meant to bring in today and I messed up. But I want to try a 360 show just because it's cool. Nobody's going to watch that, but that's fine. We'll try it. That's what we want to do, is try stuff. So come back next time. Be surprised because we'll figure out what we're doing then. Bye.